Tonight, soaring grocery bills, the food forecast making prices painful to stomach. What is going to cost Canadians more to eat?
It's terrible because I'm on a lower income.
Plus, how you can save money at the checkout. Mark Carney and Donald Trump set to meet on the sidelines of the FIFA World Cup draw, how the trade talks could play out. And a window into what Canadians clicked on the most.
And ball, baby!
The top search trends from serious to silly that dominated the internet this year.
CTV National News with Omar Sachedina. Reporting tonight, Heather Butts.
Good evening. Your household budget is about to take another hit, with food eating up a bigger share. Driven by issues like trade and climate change, it's expected food costs will outpace overall inflation in this country next year. Beef, chicken, and vegetables all going up, and that means the average family of four will be spending nearly $1,000 more. CTV's Abigail Beeman tells us why.
As a new and breastfeeding mom, more expensive food prices mean harder decisions for Valerie in Madison.
Now even the quantity of food as well, I have to cut a little bit, to have the quality, so you have to cut it because, yes, it's just so expensive.
According to a new report, overall food prices are expected to jump between 4% and 6% next year, leaving a family of four with an annual grocery bill just over $17,570, up almost $1,000 from 2025.
Everything, especially the meat, beef, that sort of thing. So I kind of stay away from that.
She's right. Beef was the biggest driver of high prices, climbing 19% in the first quarter and 7.2% overall.
People are so shocked they pivot towards chicken and pork. We're also expecting prices for both chicken and pork to increase as well.
Other factors impacting food prices are the trade war, the GST holiday, and changes to the temporary foreign worker program.
10.6 million Canadians are food insecure, but those that are missing meals on a daily basis or weekly basis, those are 2.8 million. And so food banks right across the country have risen to the occasion.
Food costs have driven Paul Wang to take transit.
Your choice of gas or the food?
Both the dollar and energy costs have not been an issue of late. We are expecting energy costs to be a driver in 2026.
In addition to the U.S. trade war, the report notes other things to watch next year include the impact of more severe weather events and the new Grocery Code of Conduct, which fully comes into force in January. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The high price of beef may give you sticker shock, and as we just heard, there won't be any reprieve anytime soon. The pressure being felt on both sides of the meat counter. CTV's Kathy Lee spoke with a butcher about the cost of doing business.
The air carries a subtle hint of fresh cuts, but also the weight of their price tag.
It's hard on everybody.
It's also been challenging for businesses. After decades behind the butcher counter, Greg Keller trying his best to navigate the skyrocketing cost of beef this year.
Never seen anything like this. It is what it is. People understand.
Beef makes up 45% of the sales here. Keller has had to lower the price to make it more accessible for his customers.
We're very fortunate in the sense that we're well established and very diverse. So we're just withstanding it for now and seeing where it goes.
While shops like Keller's wait it out, experts say the reason for expensive beef is short supply and high demand.
We've got the lowest number of beef cows in Canada at any point in the last 40 years.
That's because the drought in Midwest to Western Canada has decimated the food the animals eat.
If there's less pasture, they can retain fewer animals on that pasture. So they either need more of it or they need to liquidate some animals.
At Bonton Meat Market, Keller says some customers have switched to other kinds of more affordable protein or a cheaper cut of beef. The cost-saving measures necessary, but he, like many others, ultimately hoping prices alleviate eventually.
The cost of our inventory, the cost of our shrink, the cost of everything is highly elevated. So by all means, we would love to see it settle down.
Because it takes time to rebuild the herd, experts say the price of beef is expected to remain high into next year and possibly the year after. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
For many, purchasing beef is simply not an option. As the cost of living soars, millions of Canadians are turning to food banks. Those organizations are already struggling to meet demand, and the situation is likely to get worse. CTV's Alex Karpa on those relying on supports.
So things that we would get from the food bank would be store brand soups.
It's been a difficult last few years for Jacqueline Stone and her family.
You could only get by on soup and crackers for so long.
Rising costs has made it hard for Stone to make ends meet. She's now relying on a local food bank for help.
It's heartbreaking. It's hard. It's a day-to-day battle.
A new report from Harvest Manitoba shows up to 60,000 people in the province are accessing food banks each month. Nearly half of them, 45%, are families with children, a significant increase from 5 years ago.
Family sizes are getting larger. The demographic of folks that are accessing our services are getting younger, and they're feeding more children. There's more children accessing our services.
The report found the increasing cost of living is driving more people to food banks. Rob McCaw has been volunteering at Harvest Manitoba for 14 years, but started relying on food banks for help 3 years ago.
I did a budget, and it's cost me about $1,700 a month to live, and that's roughly about what I get. So I'm just barely getting by. I'm all alone, and I don't have anybody to really help me in life.
A lot of tomato sauce.
As for Stone, she wants to see all levels of government step up to help those in the same situation she is in.
You find yourself going through the grocery store, grabbing what you need, and when you are ready to check out, you pretty much have to do an audit of your cart to see if you can afford everything.
Harvest Manitoba has outlined a list of 10 recommendations to address food insecurity here in the province, including increasing social assistance and calls to implement a livable basic needs benefit. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
And later in the show, we'll show you how technology can help you save money on groceries. The U.S. military has conducted another deadly strike on an alleged drug boat in the eastern Pacific, leaving 4 people dead. It comes as the Pentagon faces criticism over a different strike in September.
Admiral General, what's your message to the American people?
Admiral Frank Bradley briefed lawmakers today after a report he ordered a controversial second strike that killed survivors to comply with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's demands. Lawmakers say Bradley denied a report that Hegseth gave an order to, quote, kill them all. Meantime, a Pentagon report released today says Hegseth could have endangered U.S. troops earlier this year when he discussed military plans in the messaging app Signal in a group chat that included a journalist. The FBI has arrested a man suspected of planting bombs in Washington the night before the January 6th riot 4 years ago.
Let me be clear. There was no new tip. There was no new witness. Just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work.
Police searched the house of Virginia resident Brian Cole Jr. today. He allegedly placed the devices at both the Democrat and Republican headquarters near the Capitol building. The devices were discovered and deactivated, but police say they could have been lethal. Washington will play host to the FIFA World Cup draw tomorrow, but some important meetings will also happen on the sidelines between Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. CTV's Washington Bureau Chief Joy Melvin now on the trade talks and the tensions.
Can I keep it? What do you
President Donald Trump playing host to the world's largest sporting event. Alongside him, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney and Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum, teammates for the day that might just smooth over some recent trade tensions.
3 North American leaders who've never been in a room together are going to have a visual of a happy moment, drawing some country names for the World Cup. Those of us who are looking for some hope right now, that just maybe, at the end of the day, the right thing will happen.
This as the future of the USMCA agreement is being thrashed out at marathon meetings in Washington. The message from Canadian and U.S. companies: improve it, extend it, but keep it, after the president seemed to suggest he might blow it all up.
We'll either let it expire or we'll maybe work out another deal with Mexico and Canada.
Trade talks broke off in October, the U.S. president angry over an Ontario government ad criticizing tariffs that Trump imposed on Canada. It didn't go over well. U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer told Politico, the president's view is he only wants deals that are a good deal. The reason why we built a review period into USMCA was in case we needed to revise it, review it, or exit it.
Not only are we your biggest customers, but we put them into the cars that we make. The cars that Donald Trump has been targeting are 50% American content as of 2024, up from 38 when the USMCA started in 2019.
Flavio Volpe represents automotive parts manufacturers and made his case to the Americans with the numbers.
The U.S. Trade Panel heard from 150 representatives, and they all seem to say the same thing, that the free trade agreement is crucial to the North American economy. Heather?
All right, Joy, thanks. Excitement has reached fever pitch for soccer fans ahead of tomorrow's FIFA World Cup draw. So how will it all unfold? CTV's Paul Hollingsworth is at World Cup headquarters in Washington with the breakdown for us. Paul.
Heather, the FIFA World Cup is coming to North America, and the world awaits for Friday's highly anticipated draw. A lot of possibilities are at stake, including the teams joining Canada in Group B, which will go a long way to determining Canada's competitive chances at this tournament. Canada, the U.S., and Mexico are the host countries. 48 teams are in the mix. The draw will divide those teams into 12 groups of 4. Canada approaches this year's tournament and draw as a team on the rise, ranked 27th in the world. As Canada awaits the result of the draw and finding out who they will play, they do so knowing they will try to secure their first ever World Cup win on home turf, with games being played in Toronto and Vancouver. Heather.
CTV's Paul Hollingsworth in Washington, D.C. tonight. Thanks, Paul. And you can watch the draw live tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on TSN. Superstar soccer player Lionel Messi still hasn't revealed whether he plans to play in the World Cup. The 38-year-old from Argentina told ESPN today he's going to take it one day at a time when deciding if he'll help his country defend its 2022 title next summer. He's set to take the pitch on Saturday for Inter Miami in the MLS Cup final against the Vancouver Whitecaps. 4 countries say they will boycott next year's Eurovision music contest, with Israel remaining in the competition. Spain, the Netherlands, Ireland, and Slovenia are pulling out after the European Broadcast Union decided not to vote on Israel's participation. A number of nations had called for the country to be excluded over the war in Gaza. A line in Canada's federal budget last month said the Liberal government would explore participating in the contest in the future. The annual meeting of the Assembly of First Nations wrapped up in Ottawa with some confusion when an appearance by several federal ministers didn't go according to plan. It comes as pushback grows among BC chiefs over the government's new pipeline agreement with Alberta. CTV's Mike Locatour explains.
The decision was made that some other ministers would come.
The Energy Minister's office insists it was not his decision to not participate in the morning panel at the AFN Special Chiefs Assembly. But in her closing remarks, the National Chief said the changes weren't their doing.
All ministers are always welcome. None are ever uninvited.
He did meet with BC chiefs over lunch in their separate caucus room, and they didn't hold back on how they feel about a potential pipeline to the West Coast.
Because of these governments that we were put in the poorhouse.
Thank you. After the hour-long meeting, Hodgson insisted that any major projects like a pipeline can only be built with Indigenous consultation.
What we've said is if a proponent comes forward and they have a route, because there is no route today, then there will be discussions, and then people have a right to say what they believe, and that's their right.
Merle Alexander represents 2 coastal BC First Nations where a pipeline could end. He worries the government isn't listening.
I think he's sort of playing with the fact that there isn't yet a proponent, and not dealing with the fact that, one, First Nations the Coastal First Nations have already said absolutely no to an oil pipeline.
BC's AFN regional chief was happy to host the minister, but is still against the Memorandum of Understanding between Alberta and Ottawa.
This MOU is a slap in the face of British Columbia. You know, they did this agreement without BC in mind.
Hodgson insists this is only the beginning of the conversation, and he has committed to visiting BC's northwest coast to meet with communities and chiefs in the near future. Heather?
Mike, thank you. This has been a dramatic day in British Columbia politics involving the Conservative official opposition. John Rustad resigned after initially refusing to do so in the face of a caucus revolt. This only days after former members of that same caucus proposed a very controversial idea. Here's CTV's BC Bureau Chief Andrew Johnson.
John Rustad started the day ending 24 hours of peak political drama.
I'm just going to start off with the obvious here this morning, that I am announcing that I am stepping down as the leader of the Conservative Party of British Columbia.
Hours earlier, what was going on in the BC Conservative Party, the opposite of obvious. The party declared Rustad removed, claiming he was professionally incapacitated after a majority of caucus had lost confidence in his leadership. But the man who transformed the party from fringe to official opposition only a year ago disagreed.
I'm not planning to step aside at this point.
Today, Rustad said he changed his mind, despite supporters and his wife urging him to carry on.
In order to do that would be the creation of a civil war within the Conservative Party of British Columbia.
Party executives first called for Rustad to resign in September, saying he was failing to unify the party. The new interim leader who will try to do that is Trevor Halford.
Today really is about respect and gratitude for the work that John Rustad has done.
The Conservative Party chaos comes on the same week a former caucus member introduced a provocative bill to recognize the achievements of the Freedom Convoy.
One of the largest peaceful demonstrations in Canadian history.
Tara Armstrong is proposing the protest that paralyzed Ottawa be marked by a statutory holiday.
The timing of a Conservative leadership race to permanently replace Rustad is unknown. The Freedom Convoy Recognition Act will be voted on in the new year. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Coming up, tapping into technology at the grocery store.
If I can get the cheapest, I will definitely go for it.
The savvy apps shoppers are using to search for savings. In the search for savings, Canadians are turning to technology at the grocery store. CTV's Alison Bamford explains how informed shoppers can cut costs.
They need apples.
Wally Atawoyan is looking for the best deals on groceries.
If I can get the cheapest, I will definitely go for it.
Helping in the search is an app he created, MyFlyer. It allows consumers to compare prices, and if shoppers are willing to go to more than one store, it can generate the most cost-effective trip based on drive time and gas.
If you can get that kind of information at your fingertips for cheaper, locally, I think that would be great.
Atawoyan still needs food price data before the app can go public. It would add to a growing list of digital supports that already exist. Some connect consumers with discounted items nearing expiration. Others allow them to browse digital flyers. But experts say even that can be limiting.
Not every product makes it into a flyer on a weekly basis. So there are deals in stores that retailers are offering that people do not know about.
Better Cart Analytics is working on its own app for the new year that would give consumers access to a full catalog of product prices.
We'd like to be able to show consumers what is a regular price and how far or deep that promotion actually is if it is on sale.
Reducing the amount of food waste can also stretch a household budget without the need for an app.
We want to buy just what we need. We want to use it up after we make it, and we want to store it right.
Understanding best before dates is also key to limiting food waste. The date refers to peak freshness and doesn't necessarily mean the product has gone bad. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Still ahead tonight. Have you heard the one about the seal that walked into a bar? This might sound like the start of a joke, but a seal really did wiggle into a bar in New Zealand. The baby fur seal made its way into the establishment in Richmond, New Zealand.
I think everyone thought it was a dog at first because we're a dog-friendly establishment. And then I did a double take and I was like, oh my gosh, that's a seal, what's going on?
The seal was successfully captured by conservation rangers and released on a nearby island. The bar owner says there's now a running joke that they've got the seal of approval. And the final supermoon of the year was at its biggest and brightest tonight. Known as the cold moon, it peaked earlier this evening in Canada. Well, still ahead, searching for answers. The hottest topics Canadians asked Google about in 2025. As 2025 comes to a close, Google has unveiled the searches that defined our year. From the stories that captured the attention of Canadians to the personalities who dominated the conversation, CTV's John Valley-Rao breaks down the trends that had Canadians curious.
When it comes to summing up the year that's gone by, what better to look at than the things Canadians Googled in 2025? And one subject came up more than any other. The Blue Jays, who gave us some of the year's most memorable moments, including this Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Grand Slam against New York. And in the category of news and events, these two words were the year's most looked up, followed by Canadian election results, Iran, LA fires, and the Charlie Kirk shooting. As for the person Googled the most, Mark Carney topped the list.
This was an election year, and Canadians were following the election every step of the way.
Serial killer Ed Gein came in second. He was the subject of a Netflix true crime series. When it comes to athletes, 4 of the top 5 Googled were Blue Jays, including rookie Treya Savage, and rounding out the list, Canadian tennis star Victoria Mboko, who at age 18 won the National Bank Open in Montreal. As for searches, starting with what, among the most popular were, what does elbows up mean? What time is the Jays game today? And what does 6-7 mean? A meme that caught on fast with kids and has no fixed meaning, part of its appeal. The top why questions: why is Canada Post on strike? Why did Trudeau resign? And why do baseball players spit? When it comes to the top searched word in pop culture, it was La Boo Boo, a line of plush toys that went viral, followed by Bianca Censori's Grammy dress.
My name is Happy Gilmore.
Well, the top searched movie was Happy Gilmore 2. And the most Googled song, Golden, from the animated musical K-pop Demon Hunters. A year that had its golden moments as we count down the final weeks to 2026. John Valley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
And I am guilty of searching a few of those myself. That is our newscast for this Thursday. I'm Heather Butts. For all of us at CTV National News, thank you for watching. Good night, and I'll see you again tomorrow.